across countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it. From the start to the finish, go hard.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday night edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the bearded villains of Worldwide Brotherhood. On a Friday night? Again? What? It's crazy, but yes, we are back again on a Friday night. Just because. Some weeks, guys, some weeks it's going to be this way. Some weeks we're just going to have to do it, and we're going to have to tolerate it. And I try to give you guys at least 24 hours notice, but like last night, I didn't. I gave you about an hour's notice. But I appreciate you, those of you who are here and hanging out with us. You are here for episode, 223. 223. It is July 26th, the last episode of July for 2024. We are going to be already in the 8th month of the year when we come back again to meet next week. That's insane. Wow. Crazy times. Crazy times. Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? This is going to be a fun episode, I think, but it may be short. Who knows? We'll just play it by ear and see. I got like 2 or 3 things that I want to cover and touch on. We'll see how the comments go in the comments section. And we'll just see how much I end up just talking for no reason and nonsense stuff. But the hope here is that what I want this to do is to act as kind of a catalyst. I'm hoping that this episode can kind of act as a catalyst to a larger discussion down the road, maybe in a few episodes. So that is my hope. And this is kind of a get the ball rolling on said topic type of a thing. But that's the idea behind that. So we'll get into all of that in just a few minutes. But hey, first off, I have to say, happy birthday to one of our brothers up in the BVC land, Jelly, the man, the voice behind this song, the voice, the one who created this song for me. And got to give a big shout out to him. Happy birthday, Jelly. I know you're out there having a good time tonight, and he's not watching right now. He's not listening. He's got better things to do. Celebrate that birthday, man. But yeah, just have a big shout out to Jelly. I appreciate everything he's done supporting this podcast and live stream, YouTube show, whatever we're going to call this thing over the years. We're coming up on 5 years before we know it. We're going to hit our 5-year mark in just the blink of an eye, it seems like. So that to me, let alone, I mean, when you think about the sheer number of episodes, we're on 223 right now, and you're like, well, how many weeks are in a year? And you do that kind of math. It doesn't quite equate because we've, over almost 5 years, we've taken a few weeks off here and there. The first 25 episodes were all podcast only, but the first like 10 or 15 were every couple of weeks to start out with. They didn't become weekly until somewhere around episode 25 or 20. So, but we're coming up on it. Cheers. I need to take a drink right now. I've already get some scratchiness in my voice, I can tell. But cheers to everybody on this Friday night if you're taking part. That's good. Tonight, by the way, on the bar top, I found another supplier. It's back out for sale outside of the distillery. They closed it off for a long time for the last couple of years. You couldn't find this stuff unless you went to the distillery. And I'm talking about Evan Williams Single Barrel. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And the funny thing, really cool thing, I thought it was kind of a neat little side note, is that this bottle, it is they barrel it. They barrel it like it's in 2015, so it's like a 9-year type of a thing, right? But it was barreled in 2015, but it was bottled. It was bottled on Leap Day for this year. So that date won't come around anymore. for another 4 years. So it's kind of a cool little fun factoid that it was bottled on the 29th of February. So anyway, I know you guys be amazed at all the funny stuff and the stupid stuff that amazed me. Join me over here, will you? It's fun. Join me over here. But you guys are here with me hanging out on a Friday night. I greatly appreciate it. It is episode 223. I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to the people that are here with us in the comments section. And for sure, those people that are here spending some time on a Friday night when they could be doing anything else. Truly, anything else. Let me get my cursor where I need to here. And we're going to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to Robab. He is actually on the road right now. Robab. He is on the road, traveling betwixt two locations, and he's joining us live anyway. He is a fan. He is a super supporter and an incredible brother. And you know what? Little teaser here. We're going to hear a little bit. We're going to hear a little something from him in just a little bit. Well, you know, just a little tease. Hello, Rob. Good to see you here. Dapper Dan is hanging out with us as well. Good to see you here too, good sir. Mr. Ed Daring, how are you doing? Hopefully your work week has not been total hell and you're back home chilling and relaxing and I don't know if you still get called in or not, but if you do, hopefully that's going to not happen at all. Knock on wood. And I just did. So there we go. Rob is also, Mr. Rob Fettes is hanging out with us as well. What's happening, y'all? Good to see you. Good to see you. Mr. Ed Sanner from my co-captain from our chapter is hanging out with us as well tonight. Good to see you. Christian, good to see you, buddy. Hanging out with us from all the way down south. Howdy, howdy, howdy. He says, good evening, guys. Billy Brown is hanging out with us as well. Hello, brothers. Good to see you. Buddy, hey, brothers. Hope everyone's had a good week. Yes, he said great week, if I could read correctly. Even we have Sam Hill. Sam, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you here. Can't wait to see you again soon. Hopefully. Of course, we have the little Dane. Hey, brother love. From the little Dane. Good to see you here, buddy. Probably run into you a little later if you're going to jump into that Friday night call after this as well. I love seeing all the people hanging out with us here tonight. We even have Mr. Kerrigan here. How you doing? Yo, brothers, he says. Yes. Good evening. Good to see you here. Do I have anybody else that I have not commented? Of course, Jake. Jake is here with us as well. Hey, Jake, how you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Got to see you. Whoop, we got. Can't wait to see you again soon. We got to find some time. Fiery bearded man. Good day. Fiery bearded man says good day. What's up? Mike hanging out with us as well. We got a great crowd here tonight. Maybe they're just stopping in to say hi and then just disappearing, but it's okay too. It means they were here for just a few minutes, right? Yes, I understand we are here when they're playing the Olympics. Bearded man says, who needs the Olympics opening ceremony when we have the Heart of a Villain podcast? That might be overstating things. That might be overstating things a little bit, but I'll take it. Ed says no, he's not going in anymore on call. That's a good thing, though. I guess that's a blessing in disguise. We'll take it for that. We'll take that for sure. Yeah, you guys could be doing so many other cool things. I don't know about you. I mean, I used to like the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, but then they went like way over the top, and then they just dragged things out. It seemed like out of no need of necessity at all, just because all the pomp and circumstance of it, and then it just like 4 hours later, it always felt like. So yeah, there's certain parts of it. I'll watch the highlights later. I think is kind of the way I look at things. I'll look at the highlights later. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Means a lot. All right, so I don't really have anything new in the field of merch or anything like that I want to discuss tonight, because you know what? Nobody reached out to me, and I decided this week I was just going to take a stance of I'm not going to search for anything. If you have something and you didn't send it to me, then you lost out for this week. And hopefully somebody didn't send something to me, and I still didn't do it. But I'll be honest, that's always a possibility. It's been a busy week for me as well. But if that's the case, please jump on my back and yell at me and say, yo, we got this thing. I told you about it. And I'll make sure I get it on for next week and help promote it for you for sure. So I was, how do I even start this? What I wanted to do tonight was I wanted to just do a little quick pivot and try and like open up a discussion engagement thing around the topic, the general topic of mental health, men's mental health specifically, because that's who we are as bearded villains. And I was chit-chatting away with our bro Rob, who actually kind of pointed me out to these videos that a handful of the guys from Big Smoke from the London chapter put out back in May during the month that is Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, they went out and put out some really cool, some guys, some of the brothers over there really stepped up and did this. And when I say step up, I mean they opened up themselves and just laid it out there. And they made these little personal videos that they shared on the London chapter page about their own individual, some would call it a struggle, some would call it challenges, some would just call it experiences with mental health and the things that they struggle with or deal with on a daily basis. And I think to publicly come out and talk about things like that, a topic that still sadly is taboo in a lot of ways. People like to talk that it's okay. People like to say that it's okay. But it seems like sometimes it's just still not in some people's eyes, or people just kind of skirt around the subject and they just kind of walk away from the subject because it doesn't make, it's not a comfortable thing. And it shouldn't be, right? But I think sometimes, I mean, it's a very fancy thing to say now. It's a very popular thing to say, that it's however you say it. It's okay not to be okay, or it's okay to not be okay. It's the thing that I've been saying on this show for years now to end the show. And when we say it, I take it to heart. And it's easy, I think, because it's become kind of a catchphrase in some regards. It's easy for some people to just kind of gloss over it and just pay due attention to it just so they can say that they pay due attention to it, right? It's an easy thing to, when you're talking about specifically for us, men's mental health awareness, and it's easy to gloss over it. It's easy to just be like, yeah, you need to talk to somebody. Yeah, it's good to talk about these things. But when you get down to it, when you get to the depth of it, it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to open yourself up to. It's a hard thing to, literally just like you're just, opening up a bag and you're just dumping it on the floor. And here's all of me. Here's all of my trauma. Here's all of the stuff that makes me tick. Here's everything, right? And the guts and the courage that it takes for these guys to do this kind of stuff, be it the guys that did it for the BV London back in May, the guys that do talk about it on a regular basis, that aren't afraid to talk about it, and even for those that are willing and able and open and accepting to listen and just be an ear to listen. That's what we're here to support, and we love it. And I hope that this episode just kind of, I don't know if it's so much it becomes a catalyst or just kind of helps spur things on, because I know that we have Mental Health Awareness Month in May. I know that that's a thing, right? But men's mental health, or mental health in general, mental health awareness, however you want to refer to it, I think it's great for us to have a month where we focus on it, right? But I don't want this to be a thing that we don't talk about year round, that we're not willing to talk about year round, because it's not Mental Health Awareness Month, Nope, not until next May. We can't talk about that again. There needs to be an open, healthy dialogue for us to talk about this stuff all the time. So for me, it doesn't even, there is no borders. There's no timeline. There's no month. Yes, I know it's recognized in the month of May, but for me, there is no such thing, because this is something that's a daily struggle for some people. And it's a topic that needs to be accepted and spoken of just like anything else. And you shouldn't feel like, you can't celebrate your successes within this, or you can't, you can't really feel like that you're open to talk about it until it's, because you don't want to drag everybody down. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, or something like that. It's a difficult thing for me to talk about specifically, only because many of the things that our brothers do talk about, the things that they do struggle with on a daily basis, are not things that thankfully I do. And I hesitate going too deep into this kind of a conversation because I'm not an expert, because I don't suffer from many of the things that our brothers do speak of, that they talk about. And I consider myself very fortunate for that, obviously, but it's one of those things where, if you haven't experienced it, if you haven't been there, if you haven't worn the shoes, if you haven't walked in those, if you haven't done that, it feels a little bit out of place for me to really talk about it above what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I can be an ear. I can be a sounding board. I can be someone that will listen. I can't speak to somebody and say I've been there. I can't speak to somebody and say that I truly know what you're going through. There's a difference between the words empathize and sympathize, right? You empathize, you've been there. Sympathize, you can sympathize with someone. You can understand maybe, and you support that. But many of the things that our brothers talk about on a daily basis that they have to deal with, the internal stuff that goes on, it's difficult to talk about without having gone through it. At least it's difficult to talk about it and feel good that I'm offering some sort of a, respite to it. I never want to be somebody who comes off as fake, that I'm just trying to talk about something. I acknowledge the fact that it's very important, and I think that I have a good ear, and I think that I can offer that to people when someone needs to talk, and I think that I can talk through things with people without offering my specific opinions. But it's also something that me as a brother, I care about what our brothers go through. I care about the things that make them tick, the things that make them act the way that they do, the things that make them who they are, that drive them, all that stuff. And that's a lot of that is that's who we are. All of these things, these experiences that we have, all the trauma that we hold, all of the stuff, all the crap that we have inside ourselves is what makes us who we are. And so if you have PTSD of some sort, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, all of that stuff, it's all come from something that makes you who you are, the individual that you are. And that's where, to me, I want to be the brother that I want to learn from you. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about what makes you you. Because I think that way when we're willing to do that, we're willing to acknowledge that, we're willing to step out of our own comfort zone and listen and hear. It makes us better brothers. So, I'll go back to some of the comments. We've got some great comments coming in from some brothers here. That we've got coming in here. I love it. going to go back a little bit here and pull out a couple of them for sure. Yeah, David says helping each other cope isn't just June; it's always. Yeah, and depending on where you're at in the world, mental health awareness is different months, for sure. Fiery says, feel being a part of BV is the biggest support network you'll ever have. Yeah, I believe that's true. I think once you look past all the other crap that's going on, that occasionally happens within BV, right? That pops its ugly head up, and it's cyclical. You know, there's some drama over here. There's some thing going on over here. Above all of that, when you get down to it, it's the brotherhood, the relationships that we make within the club. Because of the club, whether you stand for this, that, or the other, it's the relationships that we make because we're a part of this thing that is BV. And I think that's the amazing part about it. Yeah. David says, I also don't struggle with this like many, but I can invest myself into them to the degree I feel comfortable. Yes, you can. That's a great way of putting it. Yep. Listening is sometimes the cure many suffering seek. Yep. 100%. Buddy, good comment here from Buddy too. You don't really need the answers. I think most of the time it's just knowing what you've got, that you've got somebody who cares and will listen. Yep. These are the discussion points that I love, guys. As men, we are always expected to just suck it up and deal with it. A lot of times we just can't, and we shut down. That's very true. Very true. So anyway, going back to these videos that the boys, and I encourage you, because I'm going to share a couple of videos with everybody here, and but I encourage you, as I'm looking around all my screens here, I encourage you to go out and go over to the Instagram page for BV London and scroll back a little ways to sometime in May, and you'll see a couple of these videos that these brothers put out. And these heartfelt messages about, they're acknowledging the things that they're going through, and they, regardless of what that is, there's an air of positivity to it that I love. Something that's really cool. So I want to play the first one that I've got here, and this is just a short little. I don't even know if it's 30 seconds or even less, or 60 seconds. I didn't even time it, but it's one of the ones that they posted on there, and it's basically a collaboration of a collage, if you will, of several of the videos that they did post as individual videos, but they put, a few seconds of each one together. And it's just a great, it's a great kind of a summarization of what this project, this idea that they came across, that they wanted to do, that they wanted to share with everybody for the month of May, really was about. Talks about, you get the feeling. So I hope that it's something that we don't do just in May, but obviously a very cool thing that they do in May. So real quick, I just want to share this first one with you. And yeah.
As kids, we're worried about the monsters under the bed. But as grown-ups, it's really the monsters in our heads.
I suffer from ADHD.
I've complex PTSD.
I suffer with anxiety, depression and ADHD.
I've been 20 years diagnosed bipolar.
I suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder.
I suffer with CPTSD, depression and anxiety.
20 years ago, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. Alongside that, I suffer with associated memory impairment, social and general anxiety disorders.
This week we've been highlighting some of the mental health challenges some of our brothers here at BV London and the wider BV Brotherhood face on a daily basis. Scott, Rick, Chris, Gilly, Matt, Rob and Lloyd have had the courage to share just a small part of their story this week. I personally find it incredibly brave and truly inspirational. And it is our hope, even if it's just one person, that this week has encouraged those in need, and not just crisis, to know that it's okay to talk.
It's just it gives me chills to hear guys talk, to hear guys open up about stuff. And you never know what others are going through. Just like anything else, this brotherhood is nearly 5,000 men, and depending on where you're at, there's some areas of the world that are much higher concentrations of us than others. But we have so many brothers out there, and we get to know on at least a first name basis, and we might know, we know several hundred, a thousand or two, maybe even, you may know, that you've come across over the years, and you might talk to them on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. You just kind of check in every once in a while. You make a comment on a photo or something like that. You don't really get a chance to truly know them. And then you don't know, because of that, and it's not to be expected that you do get to know everybody in that way. But we never know truly what is going on in someone else's head. We don't know what's going on in their own life, So it's through these relationships that we're able to be there for each other, and that we're able to talk things through and to find out and to make that first question, right? Hey, you okay? You all good? You need to talk? And it takes a lot, I think, for that person to even make that question. Because it's easy to be like, hey, good. Hey, man, you all good? Nice and casual, like, you all good? Yeah. And then you have to, you feel like you have to turn back around. Oh, yeah, I'm good. No, bro. Are you good? You want to talk? I'm here. You got to shut it down a little bit, and you got to come back to the center and be like, I'm not going to egg you on. I'm not going to come down on you, and I'm not going to shove you in a corner until you start talking to me. But I do want you to know that I'm here for you. I may not understand what you're going through, but I can be here for you to listen. And I think there's a set of courage that comes from both sides of that, because I think you're putting yourself out there just in a little bit of a way to be that person to listen, right? Because what you have no idea. You're putting yourself out there, and you have no idea what you're about to hear. You have no idea what you're about to hear. And you have no idea, after you hear what you're about to hear, how is this going to affect you? Where are you going to pull this? Is it going to affect you after you hear this, knowing about this? Things like that happen. So when you're ready to open yourself up to someone, and you're ready to listen and be that person to listen, you have to also be aware of what you're doing. Because the worst thing I think that you could possibly do for somebody that wants to talk is to say you're there, say you want to be there to talk, or you want to be there to listen for them. And then immediately when they say something that you never thought you'd hear, or that you don't like, that you shut down. You shut it down. Okay, I didn't need to know that. For somebody that's willing to open up and talk, and then for the person that is there saying they're ready to listen, they want to listen and help, for them to shut it down and be like, nah, no, thanks, bro, bye. We got to make sure that we're there. And we're there for it. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to go back. A couple more comments have come in that I like. I love it when we have good comments in our section somewhere. For sure. Sam, our brother Sam, man. Well, first I'll go with buddies. I'm going to go back to this one. He said, you don't really need the answers. I think most of the time you've got to know somebody who cares and willing to listen. Yeah. But then we come to this, a perfect example of you never know. And how things can turn on a dime super quick for Sam. Sam says, try going from being an outgoing person, completely dependent, to being put in a wheelchair, completely dependent on others. It's a daily struggle. Yeah. Yep. I can't. Yeah, my words exactly, David. He says, I can't even imagine, Sam. Can't even imagine. So, Lil Dane says, I've turned it around. So I don't see myself as suffering, but instead I'm just living with it because I can't change it anyway. I have complex PTSD and a shitty nerval situation in my lower back. But hey, the sun is shining somewhere, he says. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot to be said for how you interpret and how you look at things, for sure. Yeah. Dan says, this brotherhood has helped me personally more than you can imagine. I wasn't in the best place before I joined BV. It gave me an outlet and a brother to talk to. I was really shut off before it. You know, and that's the thing. That's one of the greatest gifts this brotherhood has ever offered, is having that, allowing that, and being a place for that. So many of the brothers that we talk to, that I've interviewed over the years, that I talked to, you know, hundreds of guys have said, you know, this thing is this club, this brotherhood has really helped me out. In different contexts, in different ways. Dave says, we have a rule in the Saints, and I offer this to every one of you. Hey, you got 8 minutes, because offering 8 minutes can make a difference in a man's day or life. Never forget that. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, you know, I love that. And I don't know if you guys, if you, David, if you heard that from, there's a motivational speaker, and he's not really motivational. He's a leadership speaker that goes out, and I don't know if he created it or if he heard about it and came up and he decided to talk about it too. But I was watching one of his speeches, and that's exactly what he said. He said, you know, too often people misinterpret signals, right? So somebody reaches out and says hi, and you know, they think that they're trying to reach out. The other person's not interpreting the signals the right way. They're not picking up on the fact that that person really needs to talk. And so signals get crossed and they get missed. And then when somebody's really going through it, I'm completely bubbling the story here. I'm not doing it justice at all. But he says then a time comes when that person's really down and really struggling. And he says, why didn't you ever tell me? He said, I tried to. I told you. And they never understood, never got the signals. And so he said what he does is that's his key now. That's their key. That's their signal. That's their language that says, you've got 8 minutes. And that lets him know, I'm going to shut everything down, put everything away, and we're going to talk. And that's the thing for 8 minutes. Longer if it takes. But that's a cool way, a very cool way of doing that, I think. It's something to live by for sure. Rob says, for nearly 20 years, I worked in the mental health sector. Let me give you this advice. Do not offer to talk unless you are prepared to listen without judging. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's that's why I said, you know, you're going to hear things, right? And it's very easy to just say, I'm here for you. It really is. And this is no knock. And trust me, this is not a knock on anybody who has said that in the past that they're willing to listen. You're trying your best. You're doing what you think you need to do, right? You're trying to be there for somebody. And that is awesome. It truly is an awesome thing that you're willing to do that. But make sure, and trust me, you not saying that doesn't necessarily mean you are less than as a brother, because it takes a toll on the listener too. It can take a toll on the listener. As I said before, you have to know, and Rob even said there, you know, you have to know that you may hear some stuff, and you never know how the mind works for the person that you're going to be listening to, and you never know the dark thoughts. You never know the way that mind works, and you never know what they're going to throw in your face. You don't know what you're going to hear, but you have to be prepared for that. And you have to be prepared, as Rob says, to do that without judging. The last thing a person that's willing to open up needs to do is feel judged. That's going to be the last time they do that. They need to know that if I'm going to throw all my crap down on the floor like this and lay it out for you, I need to know that I'm not going to be judged for it. That's one of the hardest things. So we need to make sure that we're not judging. We are ready. Yeah, Rob says, please feel free to head over to the BVLC chapter page. All the videos can be found in the main feed. Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Lou. What's up, Big Lou? Looking forward to seeing you. So it's a great, great thing that we're willing to listen, but we need to make sure that we are truly willing to listen and not judge by what we are going to hear if we're going to be there for someone. Sam, buddy, love you, buddy. He says, well, my nurse is here. It's medication time. Love each and every one of you. See you next weekend. Yeah. That dude, man. That dude. Yeah. Rob says, I'm tired. You ever hear someone say something like that, you stop what you're doing and check in with them. Take it from me. You'll know exactly how it sounds when you hear it. Yeah. Yeah. So, Rob, main contributor here tonight in the comments section. Rob recorded he also recorded one of the short little video clips. And I asked, I wanted to play his too, because not only because many of us really know him well over here in Stateside, and many of us have talked to him. But by the way, I can't wait to see him again next week. He's going to be my house guest / trip partner and everything. Car buddy, you name it. We're gonna have one hell of a trip down to New Orleans next week. But I look forward to every chance I get to talk to this guy, to Rob, man. And not only because he sounds cool, he sounds so much cooler than me with that accent, but I love talking with people that are deep thinkers that don't come off as deep. They're not trying to do that, Some of the fun conversations I've had with Rob, I can't even like specifically, I couldn't give you specific examples, but there's times that I walk away from conversations with Rob that I'm just like, huh. I learned something, I just, it's makes you think. And I love how Rob's mind works that way. But Rob shared a video himself that's on the BV London page as well. But I wanted to break it out and just share it with you guys because it brings up another really cool point at the very end, I think, that I want to also expound on a little bit. But yeah, so here's Rob's video I wanted to share with you.
Hey, Rob from BV London here. This Mental Health Week, I want to let people in on a few things they may not know. 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. In reality, it's been most of my life. Alongside that, I suffer with associated memory impairment, social and general anxiety disorders. However, this does not define me, and we need to end the stigma that mental health is a definition of people. It is not. It is something we learn to live with, something we are lucky to have our brothers around us with, to help with. And remember, beyond all else, it's okay not to be okay. Love you all.
Yeah. That was a good one, man. Good one, Rob. It's there was something that really struck a chord with me that he said there, and I think it goes so far beyond this specific topic. We hear all the time, these whatever variation of the saying, walk a mile in someone's shoes, or whatever it is that you say that has that phrasing to it or that meaning to it. But something that he said there in the video, when he talked about that it's something I'm going to butcher it, I know, but something to the effect of, it's a part of who he is. It's not who he is, right? It's a condition of who he is. It's not who he is. And I hope I'm getting that right. But I don't know if everybody knows about me, that I started a new job at the beginning of the year, and I work as a trainer for a company for staff that works with the physically and mentally handicapped community, adults primarily. And so we are doing all of the initial training for these individuals when they first come in, that are going to be working with the physically and mentally handicapped. And one of the first things that we tell them every week in these trainings that we do, and we harp on it time after time after time, we talk about people-centered language, right? And if you've never heard that phrase, it doesn't surprise me. If you're not in this field, you probably wouldn't know it. But the prospect of what people-centered language basically is it tells us that we need to put the emphasis, put the focus on the person, not on the disability. In this case, it could be a number of things. And so it comes down to, it's a mindset flip. And it comes down to how you phrase, how you refer to someone. So an example, just to go a little bit deeper on that, is just an example would be that if you were speaking about someone who is autistic, you wouldn't say, my son is autistic. People-centered language says you would say, my son has autism, right? You're putting the emphasis on son, not on the condition. And so when you say, my son is, now you're putting the emphasis on the condition. In this case would be autism. Instead of, my son has, it's merely a condition, right? And so it's a thing that it's a restructuring of how you say things. And that goes all the way across the board. It can go toward when you're talking about anyone with physical handicaps, with mental handicaps, anyone that is suffering from any kind of mental health crisis or that we need to be aware of. And so when we say stuff like that so-and-so is versus someone so-and-so has, it's a different thing. And we need to be really aware when we talk about these things. I think it's very important for us to structure our terminology and our phrasing in such a way that we are not focusing on the thing, we're focusing on the person. Because, as Rob said, it's merely a condition of the person, right? It's not who they are. It's not who they are. They are so much more, and that's what needs to be the focus. So that's just a little bit of something that brought me out when I was listening to that, to his little film clip there, that he recorded. It really struck a nerve with me because I was like, and not in a bad way, but it made me immediately think, this is something I needed to mention. That, it's like he said, it's just a condition. It's not who he is. And that goes for every one of them that are brothers that come to us. You got 8 minutes? Yeah. Yep. I got 8 minutes. And like we said, you need to know, and they need to know that you're going to be there for 8 minutes. You're going to be there without judgment, unapologetically, for sure. Well, so to kind of bring this back in home here, to kind of bring us back roundabout, my hope is that starting this kind of a conversation off will lead us to a path where I hope one day to be able to bring on a therapist that can help us out, all who will listen to us, all who will listen to this show, everyone who would watch this show, and it can be a ripple point, right? Where we hear this and we carry it with us. But my hope is that I want to be able to have a therapist come on and talk with us that I can speak with, that can give us some pointers, some things that can really help us down the road. For those that are uncomfortable talking with somebody, does that mean that you can't be that person for someone? Does that mean that you can, but you need to make sure that you're aware? So much of what of what you do as that listener is just that. You may not even need to say a word. When someone's trying to share what they're feeling, all they need to know is that they're in a safe place. Now, this is just what I've experienced from people. They don't need to know specifically how you feel about what they're saying. They don't need to know your opinions on what they're saying. Most important thing is that they need to know that they're in a safe space to do that. So that's the hope. That's the hope, is that this will spur something on, and that we'll be able to bring on a therapist, and we can talk and bring up some of these hard questions to the benefit of our entire brotherhood, hopefully. But I wanted to start tonight just by doing this and dipping our toes in the water a little bit. Number one, and acknowledging the fact that we have chapters out there like London who have already taken a step, right? Who have already taken a step forward to try to get that conversation started. And so I'm very happy to see that. I hope that more chapters would follow in their stead. I would love to see this happen as a year-round thing. I would love to see an avenue where these videos could be weekly, that these videos could come out monthly, at least on a somewhat regular basis, and be inspirational in some way. I'm still working that out as to what I would like, how I think that could be really cool. But like I said, because this is not something that I deal with on a daily basis, I recognize that maybe I'm not the best person for that, right? I may not be the best person to spearhead this effort. And I am fully aware of that, and I am totally okay with that. Does that mean that because I can't spearhead the effort and because I can't be the talking point person on this, that I wouldn't want to see it happen? Absolutely not. A lot of what I do sometimes is just do the idea thing. I may come up with ideas. I may not have all the answers, but I may have some ideas. And that's something that when I see it as a possibility of what it could be, weekly inspirational chats that are out there, something to that effect. I think for the cynics in us, for a small population within BV, they're just going to jump right over it and not care, and that's fine. That's not for them then, right? It's not for them. But all it takes if there's anything that this show has taught me over the last near 5 years, if there's even one thing that this show has taught me, it's the importance of one person listening. The importance of just one person. I've talked about before, there have been times where I've started to record on this show. I've hit record at the beginning of a show and no one's here. And I've had shows where the first 15 minutes, no one's here. And that's fine. But I've also gotten the occasional comment from someone that says, I needed this tonight. I needed this week. Hey, I just found your show. That discussion really helped. That was a really cool thing. It only takes one person. It only takes one person to affect some sort of a change. It only takes that one person to hear about it. And you can change someone's life, right? So I know that I may not be that person to spearhead this effort. I may not be the guy, and I'm fine with it. If people need extra ideas to throw at a dartboard to come up with extra ways to make this thing work, I'll be there for that. I can help with that for sure. But this is something that I think is needed as an avenue, as an outreach for us. I would love to see it. If there's some way that I can help out with it, for anybody that can, that wants to, that's able to spearhead it, that's in a better position. I don't necessarily mean in a better position creatively. I mean in a better position, knowledge base, right? Than me, for sure. I never want to talk about or be seen as, a talking person on something that I'm not knowledgeable in. I do enough of that for general use here, but I would love to see this thing happen, and I'm willing to do whatever I can to make sure it happens, and find someone that is qualified. And it doesn't mean, when I say qualified, it doesn't mean that you have to have a PhD. It doesn't mean that you have to have a degree on the wall to do it. Nope. Life experience matters way more, I think. So that's the hope. That's the hope. That's the hope, guys. Yeah. So, you know what I got to do before I forget. Almost did forget, because you know what happens? You get me in these conversations, guys, and let's see here. Got to get back to all of my documents. Well, you know what? I don't know where everything's at. I don't know what's going on. I can't find it. Sorry, Rob. I don't have the read for the I don't have the read for the Bigfoot today. I'll have to double up over the course of the week. So I do apologize for that. For whatever reason, my phone's not working right for me. All right, guys. You know what? I don't know how, but we somehow stretched this thing out like 50 minutes. I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this with some of your. I'm going to end this with some of your comments, because, like I said, I think this is a together thing. This is a together thing, and we need to make sure that we're in this together for sure. I'm just rambling at this point, but man, some of these comments are awesome. David says, "Yeah, how we do anything is how we do everything." I love that. I love that one. Yeah. I don't know who said that first, but I love it. I love that. Rob says, when you're talking to people, ask us how we refer to ourselves. That'll tell you how we define ourselves. Great. Sometimes it's just a matter of asking. Just a matter of asking. If you show a general interest in someone for anything, really, you're not going to offend them by asking them how this, a how or a when. Yeah. Dan says, hey, Dan, you know what? I'm honored, buddy. I'm honored. He says, the best conversations I needed tonight. Best show yet. Well, I don't know about that. But like I said, everybody's a little bit different. And we, every different shows will touch different topics, will touch people in different ways. I never knew that Sam was going to be coming on tonight on the show. I didn't know that he was going to pop in the comment section. And, we're talking about mental health struggles, and there he is, talking about the fact that this is a completely new thing for him now in a wheelchair. You never know who's going to be around, who's going to hear what you say. You never know. But he says, my wife could ask one of the psych doctors to come in. Hey, we'll talk. We'll talk, buddy, for sure. Dave says, this idea is so fantastic. Stop talking about it and do it. Hey, like I said, if I thought that I was the one that should, and that I had the knowledge base and like I said, this is one of those topics that I just don't want to offend. And not to say that I think I would, but it's very important that it's not a situation where someone's just talking to talk's sake, I think. That's the important thing. It says one person can make a difference, but it all starts with all of us. Yep, for sure. And David, together we can move mountains. Yep. Be the change. I think that was said in a movie. I like it, though. I like it. Yeah. So, guys, I'm excited. I'm excited about what our future still has for us. We just need to push all of the extra crap out. All of the stuff that gets in the way of us enjoying the brotherhood. We just need to push it away. Get it out of the way. Don't listen to it. Don't pay attention to it. Focus on what's important, and that is the brotherhood. And what we can do in our own lives, in our communities with our brotherhood. That's what it matters most. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and just push it aside. Focus on what's important. I hope we can all do that. I'm excited for going down to World Meet next week to find out, in some cases, can we do that? Can we do that? Just to close it off, and I'm trying not to close it off on a bad tangent, but I think in situations like, you see occasionally, are people still in it for the brotherhood, or are people in it just to make a statement? And I think sometimes the latter happens. And that's when it's up to us as brothers to push it aside, to get it out of the way and say, we don't need that. We don't need that any longer. Let's focus on what's important. All right, guys, you know what? That right there is going to be it. That's going to wrap up episode 223. That's going to do it. It's going to wrap it up. I want to challenge you guys, as I say every week, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. The most important words I say every week, guys, I've said them. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. We're out there ready. Remember, if you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. That's not enough, though. You need to make sure that you are taking the step and actually presenting yourself for a talk, for a conversation. That's what's important. And if you are ever approached and somebody asks you if you've got 8 minutes, that's it. That's what it takes. 8 minutes. And if you need to talk to somebody else, if you think somebody else needs to talk, ask them. Be the first person that ever asked them that question. That's a cool thing. Be the first person that would ever ask somebody that question. Hey, you got 8 minutes? And then you can explain to them what that means. How cool would that be? I had to play the song over again. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up finally for tonight. Next week, episode 224. It's going to be a short week. It's probably going to happen on it's going to have to happen on Wednesday. So pay attention, and I'll let you all know. I'll keep you all posted. So more to come. Have a great night, guys. Enjoy this weekend ahead. Take care and stay safe.